Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Comic Shop Talk on the Late Night Chat Network, your first stop for pop culture talk. I'm your host, Niko, and joined with me today, as always, my co-host, Chris. How's it going?
Hey, not too bad. How are you?
I'm good. I just went to see a football game in the States. Actually went to see the Washington Commanders, so figured I'd show off some of the merch, the gear here that I bought to root them on when we went there. I also got a shirt, but that's dirty somewhere right now. So yeah, so I had to rock the chain. Unfortunately, was not able to stream while we were down there. I also realized I forgot my blind bag Batman #1s here that we wanted to open up on the show here for you guys today. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna be talking about Batman first. So yeah, stay tuned for that. We'll be opening these live on stream, some of these, and revealing which covers we got for these, because that's, I guess, the new thing now, the new way to kind of hose us for our cash here, eh, Chris? It's like
Well, it seems like they're getting hosed. Like they must be doing well because there's a stack of them at the comic shop I went to, and
yeah,
just seeing them online, like who'd be buying freaking 50 issues of whatever of Batman #1? This is like on top of their open issues. Like they must have just went through the roof with the sales on this thing.
I mean, we are already seeing future solicitations for these things again, right? And I think Marvel's going to be doing it too. So it's like, yeah, I mean, that's the new thing. People love the blind bag, kind of blind box type of stuff, right? So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't get too out of hand here, but it is something fun to kind of bring to the show and do as well. So, for that reason alone, I'm looking forward to it. But anyways, this is our weekly comic book review show. You can make sure to check us out every week. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit that thumbs up button, that like button. You can hit us up in the comments. Let us know, what you think about some of the things that you're reading lately, or comment on what we had to say about them. And today we're going to be talking about the new comics that came out for the week of September 3rd, 2025. And spoiler warning, as always, guys, we are going to be talking about what happens in the books here today. We're going to be showing off some of the artwork, commenting on it, giving you ratings and reviews and this kind of stuff. So, if you're worried about getting spoiled, you can always read your books and then come back. But yeah, I guess with that all being said, Chris,
All right, let's talk comics.
cheers. Let's talk
Cheers.
comics. Cheers. Gotta say, I drank a lot of beer at the football game too, but
Nice.
all right, here we go. Batman #1, first up on the docket here today. Yeah, so I got my regular cover from series artist George Jimenez, or Jorge Jimenez. I don't know how you say that one with him, but let's open up some blind bags here.
Oh, opening right off the bat. Okay, I'm gonna look. All right.
All right, so you can open the one.
I'll open one here. See what I get.
Okay, so here we go. I'll open up my first one here then. Before we get into the review of it, I figured we'll open these up. So these are the Batman #1 Blind as a Bat Polybag Special Edition. So I think they were like $9.99 US for this.
I bought them with price blind too.
All right, here we go. My first one here. I got the regular cover just to have, because I know I was also getting these. So let's see. All right, here we go. So, Chris, you said that there's a bunch of these are all foils, or there is foils?
Yeah, the thing on the back on the back issue will tell you kind of the details of it.
There's
a couple of windshield ones.
Okay, each bag includes one randomly inserted foil variant covered by a superstar artist. Okay.
And the good thing is a wide variety of good artists doing these covers. So
yeah, so
I don't think it's a bad cover to get.
At least they didn't cheap out, right? All right, here we go. Oh, that's the Gabriel Delato, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it should be written on the back of the comic.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay, yeah, Gabriel Delato. Yeah, someone else I know also pulled this one, and that's the reason why I recognize that one. Okay, there you go. Not bad.
All right, let's see. Cut mine open now.
Put this in the bag.
Let's see what I got here. Ta-da!
Oh, the Frank Quietly. Nice. Yeah, that's a nice one. I kind of wanted the Frank Quietly one. Well, I still got one more here, so that's nice. I like that one. Very cool.
It's a good one. That's a keeper.
Yeah, that's a good one for sure. That is one of the ones I want. All right, here we go. Only thing that's gonna suck about this year is if I pull another Gabriel Delato, it might end up in your pile, Chris. All right, here we go. Bag number 2. Against my better judgment, I'm not gonna keep any sealed.
I don't know. I think I'm opening mine.
This is fun though. All right. Here we go. I should have did. See, you're smart. You grabbed the scissors. I'm struggling here. You would think all that time on cracking packs with the chat, we would have got better at doing this. All right, here we go. Oh, who's that? J. Scott Campbell. There you go.
Nice.
There you go. J. Scott Campbell and Tanya Leahu. I don't know if she did. I don't know if it's colors or inks or. But yeah, that's Campbell. Yep. Very nice.
All right. Inspired me to go back number 2 here.
This guy is jacked Batman. Jesus Christ. Draws women busty and draws men jacked.
The comic should be. Okay, here we go. Oh, let's see.
Take a look.
Oh, it's snagged up on the plastic there.
Yeah. Let's see.
Blowing out these corners on this comic. Hold on. We can snip up the top here or something. Get this. Oh, don't want to cut the comic now.
Opening gone wrong. Let's see it. Come on, Chris.
Fuck.
Yeah, I had a bit
one of that. Corner out.
I had a bit of that too.
There we go. I think I got both corners out.
And it's mashed up. No.
There we go.
Oh! That's sick.
Let's see. We got David Aja.
Yes. That's an awesome looking one. Very nice. Very cool. Yeah, David Aja. Yeah, he's great. Nice. So there you go, guys. Once again, I'll hold up my 2.
Just line bags. Still good stuff. I think they're all great covers.
Pretty cool too, because me and you got both 2 different ones than each other. Like we there you go. There's 4 different covers there for you guys. Here's the J. Scott Campbell one once again. And I know a little bit of shiny there, but Gabriel Delato. Yeah, go check them out online if you haven't seen the list, everybody. Yeah, very cool. There you go. That was fun. And yeah, people are buying a crap load of them. Like you said, I know I've heard of people. I know a shop where they sold out in 10 minutes of opening the store, and people were buying them by the handful, just like grabbing 5 or 10 or whatever was on the shelf, right? So yeah, there you go. All right, but let's get into the actual issue now and what happened here. Thoughts on the Batman #1. Chris, what'd you think?
Well, they made such a big deal about the Batman relaunch. I thought the issue should have been a bit more bombastic or something. It was okay. Like, the art's great. The story's decent. I'm sort of a little concerned, let's say, about how they're trying to really lay into Batman's gadgets. Every few pages, Batman was breaking out a new gadget or a new something that I wasn't really too, there was nothing that blows you away. But the art, once again, is good to see. Jorge Jimenez back in it, and it seems like a more focused story. And the way things have gone in comics, it seems like they're just happy to freaking have people buy #1s. They're not putting the big story in #1, and they're gonna let this story sort of grow. I found that with Absolute Batman, that wasn't a banger right off the bat, or even the Spider-Man series. Nothing big was going on. Basically, it's just sort of a let's see this world here, like, what's the story here? Killer Croc escapes from Arkham Asylum, and and Batman's on the chase, and there's the stuff with the cops again. That's still a bit old, and I hear that's going on in other comics. It reminds me of that was that what I think right when I started comics, what was that thing they had going on in the Fear State or something like that? It's almost a similar story to that with, basically what Vandal Savage has as super cops there, to kind of override the regular cops. I guess so they can, don't make the regular cops look bad, because I know the big story always was that Gotham was, the GCPD is always corrupt and maybe they're trying to get a new face there. I still don't believe that Jim Gordon is going to go back to be a deputy after being a commissioner. This guy would quit, and I don't know, didn't he have his private detective business there running a while ago? I guess that went up in smoke. And the stuff with Alfred too, as the AI that's going to be kind of following him around. That was okay, but if you're if you're creating this AI, why would you be so upset about it? Or you're so kind of like, oh, I don't know, Alfred.
Honestly, I think it's a interesting decision to make in light of the fact that he's still dead, which is so stupid still. But like, I with everything going on right now with AI and stuff like that, I actually think it makes a lot of sense. Like, it makes sense that he would have him there, kind of like helping him in his head, kind of deal, like kind of like reacting to stuff that he had going on. I wasn't mad at it. I was a little disappointed that he's still dead, honestly, but he's trying to do something with the fact that that's the current continuity. So I can't be mad at that necessarily.
Well, I've seen better AIs out there, like what's that, the White Knight, where the Joker's the AI. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Where this is just, I found it just ho hum.
I really liked, first off, Matt Fraction hasn't really written comics in a bit, or like at least not consistently. Like, he's not on the stands every month. I think he went to work in TV for a bit the last few years, if I'm not mistaken. And even when he was writing comics a lot, I wasn't like 100% with all of his stuff. Like, some stuff of his I really, really enjoyed. Some things not so much. But the things I really enjoyed of his, I think that were really good. So I was interested to see about this, because I'm like, well, Matt must have like a really good Batman story that he wants to tell, or there's like maybe there's a reason as to why he's taking this gig. I know Chip was a big was good friends with him, and he kind of took over after he did, obviously with the Hush stuff happening in between. So yeah, I was just really excited for this, and I'm like, I don't know what his voice is going to be for Batman really necessarily. I gotta say, I really like the way he was written in this issue, and I also feel like Batman isn't coming in, like you had mentioned. There's some stuff going on, obviously, with the commissioner, with Gordon not being commissioner, and some of this other stuff. But I felt like you said, it wasn't a big things are going to happen #1 issue, but I felt like just the approach to like this kind of one and done story with the Croc in it, the way it was written. And I actually really liked the gadget stuff. Like, I liked how they're kind of talking about like some of the gadgets and stuff that he's using, or giving you like a little kind of description of what this gadget is and that. So like, I don't know, it just felt like a fresh new kind of voice on Batman. And honestly, just a really, he's not coming in with a lot of baggage, and he's not setting up an arc that's going to be like, this is the next 12 issues. Like, I liked the approach that he took to this issue. It just was a solid issue, and I thought it was a good #1 for that reason. And I'm really excited for the future of this run. I hope he stays on it. I mean, this is only one issue in, but the voice of the Batman he's writing, and the type of the characterization and some of the choices I thought he made in this were really good. I actually thought this was a refreshing start to a series. So I hope we're in the, I'm feeling it. Like, I hope we're gonna get something special. Like, this is gonna be a run. Hopefully we talk about somewhere down the line. Like, hey, remember the Fraction Batman run? So I have hope for this one. I thought
we talk about the Zeb Wells run.
Yeah, but Jorge Jimenez, like you said, he's a great artist. We've seen him do I'm so glad he's along for the ride so far on this run. So I mean, we'll see what develops here. But one issue in, I really enjoyed this so far, and I'm optimistic about the future of this book. I really like that part too, where he talks about the dinosaur that used to be in his cave, when he used to have the old cave and stuff like that with the Croc stuff. And against his better judgment, he's like, I gotta take this frigging guy down, the Croc. He's escaped again. And they're like, no, like he's kind of got the mind of a child now, kind of thing. Like, I like how like he's still like evolving or something, like, right? Like, it seems like he's like almost like he's a mutant or something. Like, well, he is. Like, he's a huge lizard creature, right? But it's just like, And then at the end there with Robin being in trouble, I don't know what's going on there. I guess we'll see. Yeah. But solid start, I thought. I mean, I get what you're saying about it not being like, but I'd rather that than them set up some craziness that's like everything's these big stories now. Like, I just want a solid Batman comic or for now. Like, there's so much baggage, especially after what happened with Zdarsky's run, and then we had Hush 2 in between it for some weird reason, and that isn't even done yet, right? So I was just like, yeah, you know what? Jorge Jimenez on art, solid start, I thought. So what'd you give?
I'm still in the show me stage. I'm giving this 3.5, but I am looking forward to more.
Wow. I'm gonna go 4 out of 5 on this one. I thought it was a good start. So, all right, next up, Imperial War Exiles #1.
Let's see. I think I got the Alex Ross cover here.
Oh, that's sick.
Imperial War.
That's sick. Yeah.
I bought this on a whims and had to read it, see what's going on in this Imperial War. It's not a bad story. I guess that the Shi'ar Empire, whoever was running it, is Professor X and Liliandra's daughter, and she sort of gets usurped by Electron or something. I guess this Electron is supposed to be kind of one of the guards, and he somehow has some claim to the throne, and he's exercising it, and everything's sort of all in a state. And he brings his team. I think they just had him introduced there of whatever his elite soldiers, and they're basically about to kill Xandra, I think her name is, and then of course everybody sort of freezes, and then you realize that Professor X and her mother are there on the scene, and I guess he uses his mental abilities to freeze everybody, but they can't hold him for too long. It's a decent story, you don't really know who the bad guy is, because the one that wants to usurp the throne is saying, the Shi'ar Empire has been, living on the backs of all the other systems, and, it's time for a more fair sort of thing. And then, she's saying, oh, I shouldn't be usurped. I'm the queen, I gotta survive. Like I remember reading stories about the Shi'ar Empire, they're always, interesting. But they were interesting because the X-Men were involved, not just Professor X. I think without the involvement of the X-Men, this just falls flat. Like this shouldn't be something to run its own story or its own kind of series with just Professor X. I think they're just watering everything down. They're trying to take the best part of every team and kind of make their own series with them without the help of all the other characters that make it good. And what makes it good usually is when everybody's all together. And yeah, so I know in the end of this one, Professor X, Liliandra, and I guess the daughter, they escape to some, uncharted planet, and they're gonna put together a team to try and get the throne back. And maybe about the most interesting thing was the team that they're calling, that they're gonna try and get together. It's like 5 people, I think, in the last page you see. The most interesting thing about that might be it's Rocket Raccoon. And now they use that stupid, overused freaking tagline now. Oh, to me, my exiles. That's what it's called. None of this, to me, my X-Men. That's already overused. The stupid MJ line. Oh, you hit the jackpot. That is now overused. So, blah. That's all I can say. It's an okay story, but it's just missing good characters. They're trying to bring in all these people here that I don't know anything about. Not too interested in either, except Deathbird. Deathbird seems good.
Yeah, I've had some experience with some of these characters. I would say maybe most recently prior to this, I guess more so in, like you said, sometimes there's some X-Men stuff that happens where they show up. Obviously, Professor X has ties to these people. And then there's also Hickman's time, I think, doing the Avengers, where they would show up sometimes during his Avengers run. So, I overall, I've liked these one shots, I would say, towards the end of this Exiles series. I don't think that they've really interfered with the story at large. I thought they've been quite good about just telling singular stories about these characters towards the end of this event. But yeah, this one might be my least favorite just because, like you said, I wasn't as invested in this one. Maybe because the Black Panther one was interesting. I thought that was a really good characterization. And then I think there was another one that we talked about where you said that for you, I think the characterization was off. I can't remember which one that was.
Yeah, I think the She-Hulk one where she's
The She-Hulk one,
the queen, and they're writing it like another day in the life of She-Hulk,
which had really good art on it, and like that one wasn't bad, but I agreed with you on that one. I didn't think that was the right kind of like version of the character I wanted to see that they kind of were writing. Yeah, this was fine. I mean, I'm not mad at it. It didn't blow me away either, but we've just been reading these things digitally for the end of the Exiles event, and I don't think these were must reads. I mean, they're cool if you were really invested in I guess this Imperial War. I do like that they're all coming towards the end of the last issue. Like they're not like and these weren't all just mini series happening during the event. Like I actually like that at least they didn't know they had something there, or they're like, let's do a 4-issue miniseries for all these characters, right? Because who really wanted that, right? I mean, these one-shots might even be stretching a 4-issue event.
Well, I think these one-shots they're like almost issue zeros of series.
Well, yes.
There's going to be a Planet She-Hulk. Now there's going to be an Exile series.
Right. Well, that was the whole thing with the Hickman again, setting up this stuff.
I'm getting tired of this architect business. Stop architecting, start freaking building.
Here's the thing. You don't need to read these series, though. I'm not interested in any of them, really. Maybe She-Hulk, but other than that, I don't care about this. I don't care about the other.
Stop wasting Hickman. Freaking get him writing a comic and get him invested in it.
The man just put 2 years on Ultimate Spider-Man. What do you say?
Yeah, that's one comic. We got writers out there freaking writing everything.
Doesn't want it, I guess. I don't know. It's not by. I guarantee you, it's a choice. It's not. This is a choice on his part, right? So Marvel wanted him so bad, they just agreed to, I guess, whatever he had, offered. I don't know. What'd you give this?
I guess 3.5 as well.
Yeah, I'll also give this a 3.5. All right, book that wrapped up this week. We got Robin and Batman, Jason Todd, number 3.
Yeah, now this is an art story here. Jeez Louise, and I think the art is just, it's so impressive just because it's not something you see every day. Like with this watercolor art, it's one of the, I guess, the standout features of these sort of Robin and Batman books, because it was the first series run was the same thing.
Yeah,
and if they continue kind of go run through all the different Robins, in this sort of vein, I think I'm down for it. And the story, that's still okay, whatever Robin is, or it's Tim Drake, this Robin that they're following, right?
Oh, Jason Todd.
Or Jason Todd, sorry. And, I guess he's still kind of hanging out with that Wraith guy. And I guess he has to make the big decision. I guess Batman kind of puts his feet to the fire. And he has to make Jason Todd sort of decide if he's going to follow this Wraith guy that's he's almost like Nemesis, basically.
Yeah.
He's just, a Batman there that's, going to kind of do things by any means necessary. And then you have the Batman here, which almost contradicts the Batman that's in the Batman comic right now, where, Batman is all people can't change, where this Batman here is all about change. So I don't know. We'll see where that goes. But, I guess Jason Todd, he does kind of go with Batman. And then, I think I'd like the scene where he revisits Wraith while he's in jail. And it's a great comic to read and a great comic to look at.
There's also a great scene after he visits him in jail after they put him away at the end, where you see Joker looking at him from a cell. And I'm really glad. I didn't think Lemire was going to go there with this story, because that's already been told how many times. So I'm really glad he had the restraint to put a little nod to the fact that Joker eventually does kill Jason Todd.
Yeah, this could be where the seed was planted in Joker's mind. I'll get that little shit one day. Watch this.
I much rather him do it the way he did by putting that page in this than going through that scene again in a story that's really not about that. Like, you know what I mean? So this was a lot to do more so with the fatherly role that Batman takes on with these Robins. And I also felt like it was in line a lot with but in a different way, the first series that we had with him and Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson.
So, I agree with you. I mean, we talked about this earlier on. I hope they keep putting these out, this team, him and Dustin Nguyen. I think they do a really great job with these 3-issue miniseries, oversized. It's not done, they're not long. And they're fun stories. The art's fantastic. And they're good characterizations of the Robins, I think. Like, I think like Lemire actually, I really like his approach. Like, he kind of does, the slice of life stuff really well. So I think when he combines that with his superhero work, it really it works well a lot of the time. Like like in this one, like there's a family. The Bat family is a big part of it, right? And as much as he doesn't want to, act hard and whatever Batman at times, and it's not about that, but it very much is. Like the whole relationship between him and Alfred and the Robins and everything else, right? So yeah, good stuff. I liked this a lot. So what'd you give this one?
I'll give this a 4.
I agree. Yeah, 4 out of 5 as well for this one this week. Just here, I'll just show off that last page here. Jump ahead. Yeah, that's good. And then this is him visiting Wraith in jail. And then you get the Joker looking at him from the cell. So that's a very cool scene, I thought. All right, so next up we got Doctor Strange 450, I guess like an anniversary issue of sorts, but also like something that's setting up, I guess, a new Doctor Strange series I discovered at the end of the issue. So it's no secret I'm a big Doctor Strange fan, so I figured I'd check this out. I didn't pick it up, I just read this one digitally, but I didn't know that was the case. I didn't know why this was coming out, but by the end of this, they said that Derek Landy or whatever, the guy who wrote the last miniseries of Doctor Strange that took place during what event was it for Marvel that he was writing that?
Blood Hunt?
No, the one that we just read that was him in Asgard, Doctor Strange of Asgard.
Oh, yeah.
Was that
Doctor Strange in Asgard?
Was that a for an event? I can't recall. Oh, is that like
One World Under Doom?
One World Under Doom, right? Sorry, I'm like that event's still going on. yeah, it is. Yeah. So One World Under Doom, they had that mini series that just wrapped up maybe a month or two ago that we talked about, where he tries to become the Sorcerer Supreme of Asgard because, obviously his mantle has been taken by Doctor Doom. And I guess they announced at the end of this issue that writer who wrote that mini series, which I think we overall enjoyed, is going to be writing the new ongoing series in December. So I was happy to find that out. He also wrote the last story in this issue. Otherwise, though, you got some other people that have written the character for the other short stories in this. You got J. Michael Straczynski on the first story. They're all decent stories. I thought between the art and the storytelling, it was fine. Like each one had something to do with about the character. Like this one's about I think this is the origin of his cloak, like how he came up with the idea of he goes and visits the guy who created the cloak or whatever, and he says that he named it after like his wife or his dead wife or something like that. This is like I'm sure this is not like a new thing. Maybe he's changing the continuity with this one, but he talks about like basically the origin of the cloak or something in this one, which was that was fine. You read this too, though, right, Chris?
Yeah. Like that first story, The Origin of the Cloak, it was a fine story, but not necessary. Nobody needs to know, the origin of the cloak or why it only helps some people, but it doesn't help other people. And basically, the cloak is a sentient being or something. Get out of here.
And then there's a story with him being the magic being his apprentice, which is interesting. I thought that one was good.
Yeah, I think I like that story. That was a good one.
Again, we've seen these two together and before, but I guess they further kind of explored that. And I think the writer of this one is the one who's writing the Magic series. I think Ashley Allen. I can't remember, but this was good. I liked this. Again, this is just kind of just exploring different aspects of the character. So, there was that. And then there's, what is this one? Oh, Roger Stern and Ron Lim, of course, classic creators coming back. Roger Stern, his Doctor Strange run, an older run, I think from like the 80s or late 70s. Ron Lim has been around a long time as well, too. So that, that was fine. Not too much to kind of, I don't know. This one was just okay, I thought, but it was, they had to do one of those kind of stories. This was good. I liked this. This was Christian Ward wrote and drew this, and his art's perfect, I think, for Doctor Strange. It's kind of like his art's always like a lot of colors, very trippy looking, weird looking art. Like I like this one a lot. Like just The story was fine, but just the look of the story I thought was really cool on this one. I was excited to see him draw this because I'm like, oh, you're the perfect artist for Doctor Strange. And this guy's been writing more now as opposed to just being an artist. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him do a Doctor Strange, honestly. I now that I think of it. And then, yeah, at the end, we got this kind of follow up, I would say, to his Doctor Strange of Asgard storyline where he goes back, or sorry, one of the trolls goes and speaks to him. No, not a troll, the guy he worked for. And he's got like a little troll, like,
oh yeah, the troll growing on his shoulder.
Yeah. So this was probably my favorite of the stories, if I'm being honest. And again, between this and the mini series of Doctor Strange of Asgard, I'm looking forward to the ongoing series being written by this guy. I thought the art was really good. It was very cartoonish looking, but I thought I really enjoyed it. Like, I don't know if this artist, he definitely didn't draw that mini series. So I don't know if this is the ongoing artist for this series, but if it is, I'm not mad at it. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. I didn't know we were going to get another ongoing, so I'm glad that they're keeping that going because Doctor Strange always seems like a B-list character. Maybe less so with the films that have come out now, but like I was just like the fact that he's had so many good ongoing series more recently. I've really enjoyed that fact because I'm a big fan of the character. What do you think overall? Did you like this or?
Yeah, overall the big takeaway I kind of liked was that in his continuing story is that Doctor Strange is now stuck in Asgard. You know, when the first Doctor Strange of Asgard came out, you think, okay, he's going to go become the sorcerer of Asgard Supreme and then just go back to Earth and then fight Doom. And that was the end of that. But it does tie in, I guess, to the Thor story. I guess at the end of that Immortal Thor run, Thor dies. And now, I guess, all the gateways between the seven worlds are closed. So basically, Doctor Strange is stuck in Asgard until they change that. So I thought that was interesting. Yeah, the stories are all fun stories. You know, I don't have a big following of Doctor Strange, but I like reading what he's got going on. I'd give this a 3.75.
That's exactly what I would give this. And again, that's high praise, I feel like, for me. I mean, I know it's Doctor Strange, but I usually don't like these anthology, let's get everybody to write a story about this guy type issues, right? But I did quite like this. I think even the ones that weren't like the best were fine. Like I didn't walk away from it being like any of them were like terrible. I thought they were all just fine stories and with a couple of highlights too. So yeah. All right, Chris, new Philip Kennedy Johnson back on Superman. We got Adventures of Superman Book of L #1.
Yeah, I gave this quick read. You know, I kind of did read that War World Superman. And this kind of just reminds me of all the stuff that's been going on in the real Superman that's sort of been pushed off to the side. Because I remember those two kids were a big deal in the ongoing Superman story. And I haven't heard of these kids in the longest time, you know. And I think in this one here, it's a lot of stuff at home. At the beginning, you know, they talk about, the Book of Hell and kind of trying to make this sound a lot more grandiose than it is. You know, a lot of kind of family stuff. You know, whatever, Pa Kent has trouble setting up a fence or something, and then I guess Clark's going to go help them after the kids wash their hands. I don't know, whatever they do in the farm. And then, of course, all of a sudden, I think some of these War World characters show up, and they just start blasting down these big spikes, and they sort of taking over the world, it seems. And then I think it flashes to the future, and things don't look so good there. And I think the kids are involved. They want to try and take one of the kids because they're sort of the key to this Olgrun or something, you know, and they're almost like the Affinity Stones, you know, it's like key to ultimate power. It's a good read, but I don't know if this needs to be a book on its own. You know, maybe they could have waited till, you know, they got some kind of filler stories in Superman or an Action Comics and put it in there. I think that's where it belongs. But it was an overall decent story. And if you did like the War World saga, this sort of continues on that, well, kind of disregarding everything else that's
good
going on in the Superman world.
I think that's a good thing, right? Where he was able to pick up where he kind of left off. Maybe this was what was planned. Maybe it just took a little bit longer in terms of scheduling to get him back on a title, right? So I haven't read that stuff, but I've heard there's people that really like his stuff, that War World stuff. I remember you. I mean, it kept you reading the whole way through as well. I remember by the end you were like, yeah, I think it went on a little too long, right? Was your main thing, right? But
yeah.
But otherwise, a lot of people really like it. Philip Kennedy Johnson's Superman run, from what I understand. So that's good. So I think this is a 12-issue series. I think it's supposed to be. I think that's what this is. A maxi series. I'm not mistaken. What'd you give this?
For me. I'll give it a 3.75.
Okay, cool. Next up, I got Cheshire and Cheetah rob the Justice League #2. Now, we were looking at the solicits. This sounded really interesting to me because it was Greg Rucka pairing back up with Nicola Scott, an artist he's worked with a lot over on DC. I think he worked with her on Wonder Woman and some other things as well. But this just seemed like a fun title for a book, and it had good people on it. So I'm like, okay. So I didn't talk about the first issue when it came out on the show. I think I missed it that week, or I just didn't see it. I've been reading this digitally. So I read both of these issues back to back. I read #1 and I read #2 for this week because I saw that it was coming out. And I got to tell you, this is a fun as hell book, man. You might want to give this a read, Chris. I think you would like this. This is I think it's gonna be a 6-issue miniseries, but this is a very fun title. I just love that he's just writing some sort of story like this, but it has a lot of tropes that I really enjoy. It's basically a heist story. It has a bunch of women characters. Well, no, there's one guy character now too. I guess that's helping out basically, though, the second issue, they set this up in the first issue that these two are friends. And that Cheetah, propositions Cheshire that they are going to go and rob the Justice League Tower. And they comment on how, like, everything that's going on with the DC universe right now, how, like, all the fact that everyone's a member and all this other stuff that's been going on with the Justice League. And they're like, she's like, no, that sounds like an impossible task. And she's like, no, I planned this out. I know how we're going to do it, but we're going to need, like, all classic heist movie type things. We're going to need certain individuals to help us. So it's like Ocean's 11, but with like DC characters, kind of. And the writing's really like, it's really sharp. It's got good dialogue in it. Greg Rucka is really good at writing women. He's written like almost all of his stuff comic wise. It's a kind of a criticism people have had about him, is that he writes like female protagonists almost all the time as the main characters of his stories. But he does a good job at it. And like, I don't know, like, it's a hell of a lot of fun. In the first issue in particular, there's a scene where Cheshire is robbing the place, Chris, and there's the guard standing there, and she catches her in the act, and she's like on her way out. Kind of has almost like some Black Cat energy to it. And she's like, she turns to him, and she's like, oh, you better put that thing away or whatever. I guess he had like a huge erection or something. And she's like, when do you go deal with it later? Think of me while you're doing it. Just like, so like, it's just a funny fucking dialogue, man. I had a lot of fun. That was the first issue. And then, again, this might affect my rating for the second issue, but in the second issue, Chris, as you know, it's a huge trope of mine. They're getting the band together in this issue. They're getting all the main characters that they need, the weird B-C list kind of characters that they're adding on to the team for this in order to make this heist work. So I absolutely love this. I thought this was a lot of fun. It's the premise is literally the title of this series, and if you can get with that, and I think Nicola Scott art is really good. I mean, if that sounds fun to you, I think you'll definitely like this. I just think this also reminded me, Chris, of like that X book, the Exterminators, that we kind of read, which was like an all-female team. Like this has that same kind of energy, sort of like it's and like I said, it's a heist, and it doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's got good art. What's not to like? I think this is going to be a mini series, and when it wraps up, I'm definitely going to be picking up the trade. So 2 issues in, I'm really enjoying this. I give this a 4.25 out of 5.
Maybe I'll look into it.
I think you might like it. And honestly, it's one of those books that I'm sure it's under a lot of people's radar, and they're like, what the hell is this book? But I'm telling you, this is a book you need to check out, because I think that's what's good about it. It's low stakes. She gets Clarion, the witch boy, a weird, like, kind of character that exists in the DC universe that's going to be part of the team. She talks about getting some muscle at the end of this too. Like they need one muscle man kind of person. I guess they need an element of magic, which is why Clarion's on the team. And there's another woman that kind of joins her in this too, but I don't know who that is. They didn't call her by her name, so I wasn't sure who that character was as of yet. Maybe next issue she'll show up in like her actual costume or something, but so far so good. I'm really enjoying this. So 4.25 out of 5. Next up, we got Avengers number 30. Chris, I know you said you wanted to check this out. You didn't end up.
Well, I heard sort of the ending of it.
Yes. So I I forgot. I talked about the last issue on the show too, I think, which came out just last week. I think these came out like back-to-back weeks, these two issues of Avengers. And I forgot what happened in it, so much so I think I like clipped the 2 minutes I talk about the book from the episode. So if you go back, there's probably it doesn't exist me talking about this book. I just couldn't remember what happened when
one of the missing moments, is it?
Yeah, exactly. On the cutting room floor. I just couldn't remember what happened last issue, right? When we actually came to talk about it on the show. It wasn't that exciting. It had something to do with like a reveal from Secret Wars, right? That kind of tied into Secret Wars. This is when I feel like the ratings must be going down on this book. Now this one on the cover, the last one had a Secret Wars tie-in. This one's like Marvel Zombies are back. So they're literally in it for like 2 seconds or like on one page in this, I think. Like they might have to deal with them next issue, but it's kind of cool. Jed McKay has the X-Men come in and take over the Avengers base because they have to go off world and they don't want to leave it just bare with nobody there to be the Avengers or take care of stuff. So the X-Men main team comes in and they're like, yeah, no worries, we'll take over if you got to go off world. And at one point, one of them says something to them, and like Cyclops is like, please, we can handle this. We're the X-Men. Like, get out of here. so that part was kind of funny. I did like that. And it's kind of cool, again, just because Jed McKay is also writing the X-Men right now, a book that we're not really reading or enjoying that much. But it's cool because he's trying to make, I guess, the continuity of stuff that he's been writing come into this title. So they go off world to fight, and then the big reveal, other than the Marvel Zombies they're showing up according to the cover, is that the bad guy that they've been fighting this whole time is none other than Kang. So Kang, which ties in, I think, Chris, to the events, that time, whatever those issues are at the start of the year where they talk about stuff that's going to maybe happen throughout the year. So Kang's been the one behind the mask of this character, Meridian, that they've been fighting the last couple of issues. So you find out the reveal in this one is that it is Kang. And, obviously when Kang is a big deal, like he is a heavy duty villain. So, and I like Kang a lot. So I was happy to see him. So I might continue reading this arc depending on how it goes, but it wasn't bad. I mean, we haven't really been digging this. Yeah, he resurrects basically these Marvel zombie characters, like these zombie characters, because they're on like Battle World or whatever, which again was like or it's referenced, I think, at one point. But yeah, it was fine, but it's been better than it has been lately. So might be worth checking out. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so glad I didn't read this with this Kang reveal at the end when Kang was the one that's setting him into the place. Just get out of here with all this stuff.
Hyperion shows up too, which is also another heavy duty character right there from the Squadron Supreme. He shows up there, and he's like basically like a Superman type character. But there he is. There's a reveal of him as Kang at the end. You know what? I'll give this 3.75. It wasn't bad. I did enjoy this issue more than I have been, but don't buy into the hype of like, the Marvel Zombies or whatever. But otherwise, I thought the story was well told in this, and it wasn't a shocking reveal that it was Kang. But now that Kang's there, I'm like, okay, maybe they're gonna tell a decent Kang story now. I don't know. Next up, I got Batgirl 11. This has been pretty good again the last couple of issues, I gotta say. It's revealed that she's got like a half brother last issue, and basically now by the end of this issue, he goes and joins her on her journey. And this basically continues with like assassins showing up that have been tasked to kill her, and she ends up taking out one of them in this issue. But like this does one of those cool things where it talks about like, whatever, so-and-so use this technique, like Kung Fu movie type stuff. And there's an assassin that comes from like a guild in this that shows up that's able to like manipulate her blood. So she gets cut at one point during the fight, and she's able to use like the bloodstream, like actually as a weapon and stuff like that, like, which is kind of cool. I thought that was neat. I'm liking this. It's just a lot of like, kind of feels like Kung Fu movie type fighting type stuff going on. And it's about now her journey now to not only take out the rest of these assassins that are tracking her down, but also like, I guess, to find her place, like with this whole this whole family dynamic that they've had in this story. Now her mother apparently is dead, Lady Shiva, but you know, she finds out she's got a half brother and she's got all this history to her lineage that she doesn't know about, that I guess she's discovering through the story. So yeah, so it's pretty good. I'm liking this. I'll also give this a 3.75 out of 5. And then JSA 11, once again, Jeff Lemire. Another solid issue, but again, you know, I think the big thing that happened in this issue is now that the like Injustice Gang or whatever group of bad guys, I forgot it. I think that's their name in this, but that's like Lex Luthor and stuff usually. I forget which group this is, but basically the bad guys in this, I've been trying to make something happen for the last few issues. That was like the whole last arc, and they actually make it happen, and they resurrect all these demon type characters like from the, like that are basically gonna destroy the earth, it seems like, at the end of this. So that was the big reveal in this one, was that they actually finally accomplished what they've been setting out to do, and that the GSA has been fighting back against this whole time. So and Jeff Lemire brought this Kid Eternity character into the book, which he created in like a one-shot like special, it seems like, years ago. I think that's where he originally created. I know he did I think he created the character, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like he's written the character before. But yeah, not bad. I enjoyed it, and I'll also give this a 3.75 this week. Yeah, here, Ragnarok. There you go. All these crazy demonic creatures coming out at the end there. Hell breaks loose. All right, Chris, you got Absolute Superman 11.
Absolute Superman 11. Just thinking about this while you're talking about it. If you've been reading this comic on its own, and this is the only comic you're reading, it wouldn't be too bad. But if you are sort of aware of everything that's going on in other comics, I think a lot of the sort of the tropes there I've seen before in the Transformers there with Superman. Like, I think Ra's-al or Brainiac is trying to break down Superman, and he's sort of running all these simulations in his mind. And, and Superman's just not breaking. That sort of reminds me of, didn't Megatron go through something like that in the Transformers? Before he was kind of revealed, he had some sort of thing like that. And then the stuff with Brainiac, this whole bunch of Brainiac clones, and they're all sort of on the numbers. And that sort of reminds me a little bit about the Skuxoids in Void Rivals, which isn't a bad trope in here. You know, they do it the same but different. Otherwise, it's okay. You know, Ra's al Ghul is still trying to break down Superman to get him to follow, or to kind of almost be his son. And it's not bad. But, you know, I was more interested kind of before. Then once he started buying again, that interest starts waning again. So we'll see how it goes.
I think a lot of the problem is there's a lot going on in this book, and I think that there's so much going on in the current day storyline that we keep getting fed some of these flashbacks. Like, there's no room for those at this point. Like, I feel like Jason Aaron, we've talked about this before, but I really do think at this point, like, he could have left that behind in the first arc. Like, because there's a lot of interesting things going on here. I love this version of Brainiac. That one singular issue a few issues ago where we got like the origin of him and how he came to be and who this character is, and just seeing him go off the rails in this issue. Also, the relationship between him and Ra's al Ghul and Talia in this, which is like not really traditionally a Superman villain, and how he wants him to like think of him as like a father figure. All that, like, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on in here. But then all that stuff's great, but then you also got the government part of it. You got the flashbacks that are going on, and I just feel like you barely get any actual moments with Superman in this book. It seems like you're getting all this other stuff going on in the world of Superman in this, and we're just waiting for him to kind of step up and be Superman every issue, like in this one where he's knocked out and he's messing with his head. And, you know, you're trying to see him overcome this, and somehow he's like able to do it while he's like, you know, hooked up with all these machines and throw them off, and which is fine. But like, you know, I just feel like we're here every issue. Either he's imprisoned or he's getting hauled off, or he's like, and I feel like everything else happening in the book, like the other characters in the modern day, like the version of it there's a lot of interesting things happening. I think he needs to rein it in like a little bit. Like, it's almost, I will say though, he is bringing it's getting to the point, I wouldn't say it's on the same level, but it's getting to the point with some of the craziness with Brainiac and all this other crap going on that we're kind of seeing an absolute absolute Batman right now. Like there is some crazy stuff happening in this look as well, but it's just a lot. Like it's not like as focused, I'd say, like as Batman has been. So yeah, I just like this whole stuff with like the Argus or whatever, that the Peacemakers or whatever it is. Like it's not Argus, is it? What the hell is this? Like whatever this group is, the government essentially in the world, right?
Yeah.
Like if you, again, I feel like he could have just focused on that in the first arc like he did, and then the second arc do the Ra's al Ghul Brainiac stuff like he has been. But he's got that plus like 2 other things happening. So I don't know. There's a lot going on here. I liked this issue though. I mean, I've been liking it more lately. I will say the second arc of this book has been better than the first arc for sure. Yeah. But I still think it's not. I still like Absolute Batman more. I feel like Wonder Woman's been cooling off a little bit for me, whereas I would say I like this book better. Overall, I still like that book better, but this one's kind of, it's making its way up the ladder here. What'd you give this, Chris?
I'll give it 3.75.
I agree. It has potential to be more, but I just like I said, because of my issues there.
They're making us sweat for this big Superman moment still.
Yeah.
They're making us sweat too much.
Yeah. Next up, we got Phantom Road number 15.
Oof, this one is going off the rails here. I am so lost in here, and I'm glad this is sort of the end. I guess it's the end for a while, it seems. I think at the end they said, they're going to take a break, it seems. But what you kind of thought was going on may not be what was going on. I think that stuff with that daughter, now that she's grown up, the guy that kidnapped her when she was a kid, is offering her a job now, basically to find her father, who she thinks is dead. It's this time business is all over the place. I think you need to read this in one big, this has to be a trade where you can read this all at once and you have a better idea what's happening. It's still good stuff, but it's weird. But it was weird to begin with, so that's nothing new to this Phantom Road.
Yeah, so basically, like, it ties back in this issue because it's the end of this arc where they focused on this past event. And now that we're going back into the current day storyline, this girl is the cop that we've been following that's now being shown that there's all this stuff that has occurred in the past that she's basically forgotten about, let's say, like her memory. I guess they wiped it, or I don't know. She had so much trauma, they're saying. Like, some people can go have traumatic events and forget stuff, like block things out. And that's basically whatever happened to her in this story. But then there's like a whole thing where they're saying that her father is still alive, and like he was the one that got left behind in this scenario where he's like he has to do something now, like he's linked to this, like whatever this weird creature or whatever the alien thing is. And like the government guy who's trying to say that he's on her side now isn't, from what it looks like in this story. And the guy that looks like Ronald Reagan or whatever, this character, he's the guy that was apparently friends with her father, who we've been following in the main book, but the whole time we're like, can we really trust this guy? So yeah, there is a lot going on, and it is still kind of like, I wouldn't say I'm as lost as I was prior to this story. I actually think this story made it a lot better and was needed at the time that they put this out for the issues 11 to 15 for this arc. So, but I agree with you, Chris. Pick up the trade, because you could even read this first, I would say, and then read the first 10 issues, because you'll understand it a lot more.
Yeah, you'll understand the first 10 issues more after you read this than when you read the first 10.
Yeah, honestly, like I normally wouldn't say to do that, but it was such a weird series, and thankfully now they gave us some explanation as to like, but we still don't know what this thing is or anything else about like what's going to happen. I can't see this series going on for more than 1 or 2 more arcs, though. I honestly, I think this is.
They think the way it feels, they think they give you, okay, you got a handle on this world, what's happening, and then last issue they just freaking blow it all up again.
Yeah. I loved this arc, though. I think overall this is a good example of when they did a flashback and it actually added to the story, because because I didn't know what was going on in the first 10 issues. I just know I enjoyed the series, right? But there was some cool stuff that kept happening. But Again, we didn't really know the meaning behind everything, and I guess we still don't know 100%. But hopefully we find out in these last. I just don't see it going on for much longer. I would say 5 to 10 more issues. I think this lasts, but we'll see. What'd you give this?
I got a 3.75 though. It's fun to read.
I'll go with the 4 on this. I think I maybe liked it a little bit more than you guys, sounds of it. But yeah, it's good stuff. Sisterhood number 3.
Oof. This has been a good series here. The art's always decent, and the story just gets crazier and crazier all the way through, with this dead sister and kind of influencing her living friend, and just everything that's been going on. You think this girl would realize that her dead friend has been able to kind of take her place when things, and she is putting her friend in freaking big ass trouble. And every time, once you think cops show up, everything's gonna be okay, she freaking takes over and starts killing cops. She killed the friends. I think it's haywire greatness. I think it's good stuff. I've really enjoyed this stuff. And then when those sisters here kind of come back, and they're all, they might be more evil than they seem to be, but then they're just trying to haze people. It kind of keeps you guessing too as to who's really bad. They're bad, and this ghost is even doing worse things. So I always kind of like those tropes in horror movies where they're going after bad people, but you're killing them even worse. So it's always fun.
Yeah, this wasn't bad. I've been enjoying this series. I will say with this issue, I thought to myself though, was it really necessary to do a whole mini series of this story? I mean, I although you get to the end of the issue again, and they try to raise the stakes once more when she's in prison. She gets caught by the police, and and she's becoming the friend who's a spirit is becoming more and more brutal. So I guess they definitely did have enough story to tell for this mini series. I just felt like 3 issues in, I was like, I felt like maybe they could have told this in one oversized issue like they did with the other one shot that they did. But I'm not mad at it. I think it's a fine mini series, and I'm looking forward to see how they tie this back into the ongoing series, which we've both been really enjoying. So, not mad at I've been reading this. I'm fine with not having picked it up in issues. But I think as like you said, like one of those horror hosts, like kind of the week type stories, like a Tales from the Crypt type of thing or whatever. Like I think this kind of fits in line with that kind of stuff, like the main series has been. This is a decent story that they're telling here.
Yeah, I like that. I'll give it a 4. I think. Yeah, wow. They're ramping up the whole time. I enjoyed this.
I'll go 3.5 on this one. I thought it was decent. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 11.
Nice cover. This Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they've been, it's been one of our favorite series for the last little while. I have a feeling, though, that right before Jason Aaron wrote this comic, that's when they told him, okay, I think you're only going to 12. Because things wrap up in here so quickly. Like, the story, I don't want to say the story was moving so slow, but, taking 4 issues for these guys to get together and then breaking them apart, take another whatever. This is issue 11. It's almost 10 issues just to get these guys together. And then they end up in jail. And I think the last issue was a lot of the courtroom stuff, and you look like they had no case at all when they're there, like they're talking like Donatello was their lawyer and he's freaking batshit crazy. And here, the way it even starts out, you can see it's already, things have changed. You got that professor or whatever, the mayor is, a Mayor Hale or something.
Yeah.
He's running into to try and find the leader of the hand and, trying to explain what's going on. Then when he does explain, I thought the explanation was a little weak there, with now all of a sudden this whole city is now behind the Turtles, where, in the last 10 issues, all we saw was everybody against them. And the way they explained how the city is now behind the Turtles, it fell a little flat. And now all of a sudden the hand, those foot soldiers, that have been loyal to the fault, just say, no, this is too much for me, I'm out, and they walk away. Like, I don't see the hand soldiers doing that ever, because wouldn't that be, that's their heads if they
yeah, well, the only thing with that is like that mayor guy went to speak to their leader Karai, and she, I guess, did not take kindly to him when he showed up, and so I guess the
Yeah,
support
that was
was.
after the fact. They all bailed before.
Oh yeah, that's true. You're right. That wasn't before. Yeah. They kind of were just like, yeah, they lost his support like in the moment. You're right. Yeah. So that's true. That just made things worse there at the end. Yeah, that is true. That I thought that was before. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. I guess they turn whoever it's the hand, or is this the foot or the hand? I get it all mixed up. This is the foot, right? The
Yeah.
hand is Daredevil. So
Yeah.
then the foot, whoever's leading the foot, turns this mare into like a freaking monster of all monsters. And now I guess it's up to the Turtles to have their final showdown with them in the next issue. And that's see you later, Jason Aaron. But the art, can't go complain about that. You know, even though for a Raptor, a quick wrap, hey, even stuff with Casey, all of a sudden he just wakes up in the coma off panel. Come on. Like, you know, like Casey's a big part of the Turtles. At least could have him wake up on panel there or something.
I did like seeing April though donning the Casey stuff there.
Yeah, I didn't
Of
mind that either. But then, of course, oh, hey, Turtles, yeah, don't worry, Casey's up from his coma. Like, did they even know he was in a coma? It's like, oh, Casey's in a coma, but he's better now. It's okay. It's like, what? Get out of here.
When you're right, Chris. It was very rushed and unfortunate. I think this has been a great run. I've been loving Juan Ferreira's art. I still think he's going to be in the conversation come at the end of the year when we talk about our favorite artists, when we do our Comic Shop Talk Awards. He's definitely in the running for me. I think his work on the last, whatever, I think it's going to be like, I guess, 6 issues by the time he's done, I think are excellent. Some of the panel layouts that he's been kind of, doing in this series has been a lot of fun and creative stuff. And I just love the look of this book. And I'm really upset that Jason Aaron's leaving because I think he had a really good voice for the Turtles. I think the Turtles.
I think he had a good story for the Turtles, at least 20 issues. And
I know.
Said, well, okay, sorry, buddy, we're over 12.
Yeah, I'm still undecided whether or not. Oh yeah, that's right. She turns him into this creature, this mutant here at the end. Yeah. I'm still undecided about whether or not I'm going to continue with it on issue 13 when he's gone. I'll have to see. It's going to be a game time decision, I think, for me with the pre-ordering on that one because, I don't know. I'm just really burned, I feel like, with the fact that he's leaving after 12 issues because I thought we had a really good thing going here, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's one of those things. Since it is a licensed property, they're going to put out comics no matter what. They do have a good artist for the next one and a good writer, so I might continue. But I just felt like you said the way that he was building it up is that we were in for a longer run here. This did not seem I even think, if I'm not mistaken, he had talked about it being going to be a big run. So I don't know if that was the case or not. After maybe when the first issue came out, that's when it was decided. Because I could have sworn I read somewhere that he had talked about it and that he had big plans, like past the 12 issues.
Yeah, past 12 issues.
Yeah. So, anyways, for what it has been, though, it's been a good run. So we got to take what we can get, I guess, apparently, in this case. So what'd you give this?
I'll give it a 3.75, though. I think it wasn't that just rushed.
I agree. This is, yeah. I mean, hopefully he sticks to the landing on his last issue next one. But, 3.75 for this one out of 5. All right. All new Venom number 10.
New Venom number 10. I didn't go for the Alex Ross cover. I can't buy multiple covers of this. Yeah. But I do like this cover.
It is a nice cover, yeah.
And this has been a fun series, a lot of freaking tongue-in-cheek stuff, the breakdown of Paul. This one had a bit more of a serious tone. I guess we're getting back to this this sort of metaphysical Al Ewing or something. It does touch on a lot of subjects there about how Venom and MJ sort of are getting along here when Venom was responsible for really terrorizing MJ, I guess, back in that Spider-Man 300 times. And I guess they explained that well. I don't know if they really needed to put that explanation out there. But it was okay. So I felt this had a more serious tone, but it hasn't been sort of keeping in tone of the comic run in general of this Venom. So that's the only down thing I had. I thought it was interesting that the way, how they're trying to explain all this stuff out. And then, there are a lot of kind of loose ends here now. I guess that Dylan has realized that Mary Jane has been holding on to, or is bonded with Venom. And I guess he wants to be bonded with Venom, so he's all out. And just sort of it didn't seem to have that fun tone that I've been enjoying out of the last few issues.
You make a good point. I still thought this was a really solid issue. I did like that I mean, the Paul part was just sad. I was like, this whole time I wanted to see this guy get burned here, and he does, but it's like almost like a pathetic kind of like conclusion to his character, which is like almost, I feel like they're really giving the readers what they want in that regard, like about like not liking this guy.
Yeah.
I just thought he was
And now
like,
they're bringing redeeming me. I was feeling bad for this guy. No, I don't.
I know. I said almost. But yeah, that's for me. That was I was just like, wow, this is like a soap opera in this issue. That's what I thought about this one. I was like, they're leaning into a soap opera like X-Men almost like kind of like vibe in this one, right? But it's true. This whole time she's been avoiding, it seems like her problems by hiding in the Venom symbiote, and this one kind of, some of them came to roost. Like she had to deal with some of this stuff in her life, right? So yeah, but I dug the whole thing with him talking about the past Venom, and like I like the whole thing with Eddie Brock now. Like sorry, not Eddie Brock. What the hell's his name? Who's been like he's been Cap and everybody else before. Like he's been like a bunch of different he's been Hulk before.
Rick Jones.
Thank you, Rick Jones. Like he's now a symbiote. So like, that works for that character, that he's been all these kind of different characters, right? He's the everyman of the Marvel universe, where he's like, I could be Cap, I can be, I could be a Hulk for a while. Like I dig that. So I'm like, that makes sense. I agree though. You make a good point. This was not as fun as what we've liked about this series, but I thought the art was still great, and it was an interesting story still. But it does seem now that with the Venom, the title coming back to Venom, whatever, with Null and everything else soon, they're kind of bringing it back down to that level, that the older series that Elliot did. So yeah, this he's kind of got the Cap look going here too, I would say. What'd you give this then?
I give it a 3.75. It was still a good issue.
Yeah.
But I missed some of the fun of the old stuff.
Yeah, agreed. 3.75. All right, here we go. Amazing Spider-Man 11 this week.
Oh man,
I got this cover.
It's got the A cover. That's a nice cover. Is that? Oh, that's okay. There's no. I thought there was a cover like that and had like a freaking, I don't know, something hanging around the bottom.
I had to get the regular cover too, because I'm like, oh, first appearance.
No, that's it. New suit.
Yeah. So
well, new suits are getting old too now, by the way. But
yeah.
What can I say about this comic? Come on, you had me on the hook. I'd lie. I was enjoying that mystery. I was enjoying this freaking Peter Parker or Spider-Man that was out there kicking ass. This Peter Parker that was snapping at MJ. And then at the end, it's freaking too good to be true. It's freaking not Peter Parker. It's freaking Ben Reilly. Of course he's an ass because he's an ass. And then, the Spider-Man is now freaking the Green Goblin. Oh, come on. They could have found something better to do than that. Oh, I don't know how I feel about all that stuff. Like now it makes sense how, he's just freaking grabbing the shocker, tossing him up, and then freaking throwing him right in Tombstone's face. That would be something the Green Goblin does, trying to be a good guy. But I guess the mystery is revealed now, and I seem to like the mystery more than the reveal, unfortunately. But it was still a good story. It had me on the line there till the end. I'm interested to see where this goes, how long they're going to keep this up for. I hope it's not too long. Because then the second story here is actually what happened to Peter Parker. Like, geez, Louise, man, give this guy a break. Come on, he's almost freaking dying on some alien planet.
I thought that was pretty crazy, actually, that story. I was like, whoa, like what happened to him? I'm like, wait, you're right. They're really doing him dirty in that. Like, I was just like, you know what? They got me though, man, with this mystery. I don't know. I'm like you though, like you said. I don't know how I feel overall, but I'm like, hey, you got me, man. I didn't see that. I didn't see that coming. So I was like, that's interesting, I guess. Like that's the most I can say about it. I was like, okay. You know,
like I still don't know why Ben Riley's gonna freaking come and help Peter out like this, like just out of the blue, like because of his clone sense or something. Oh, I better come here and just take over Peter's life. And he seems to be enjoying his life as Peter Parker there, living working in the company. He's doing better than. How come whenever somebody takes over Peter's life, they always do it better than he does?
well, that's the Parker look, right? I mean, that's his life. Let's be honest, this madness he goes through a lot. Like this, we love to see this guy when he's down. And for once, I literally said on this show when we talked about seeing him doing well in this series, I'm loving this. This guy's actually doing good for once. He's like,
it's not even him.
He's having casual sex. I'm like, what's going on here?
That's right, too. That would have been.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Wow.
All kinds of
problems.
Right,
Ben Riley, let's go, bro.
Right? So
I forgot about all that stuff.
Look at him though. He's like eating like like lizards or whatever the hell he's finding out there.
Yeah, they're looking for another eating rats. How come everybody's eating rats?
Rats, yeah.
And then whatever the alien picks, I did like the part, there's some good beats in this other story there that he's stuck wherever this alien world is because that Imperial stuff sort of shut down all these stargates to travel across systems, and you still don't know where he is. So I thought that was a nice beat.
Yes.
And then of course, whoever this alien is that's helping him out makes him stronger. He seems to be having fun there. And then of course, he finds out that this alien has a freaking basement full of captive people, and then he takes out the alien, where the alien thinks that'd be impossible for him to do. And he seems to bond with this suit, which I think has something to do with Warlock, isn't it? Isn't that what is it called, like tech armor or something?
I can't remember, but I know what
but I think it has something to do with that Warlock sort of techno virus stuff. And that Rocket Raccoon has the best line in this comic there. It's like, oh, another Earth Peter can help me out or something like that.
Right.
I thought that'd be great. And well, we'll see where it goes. I guess he freed all these people. Maybe there's going to be some characters in there that he freed that'll be able to help him out.
This kind of reminded me, this story, for any of you Dragon Ball Z fans out there, when Goku goes to the alien planet and he's out of the story for a bit and we don't know where the hell he went, and he went and learned that instant transmission move where he can basically teleport all the way. Like this kind of reminded me a little bit of that, in the sense that like the main character of our story here, meanwhile he's off somewhere else, and he's going to come back stronger as a result, having learned some stuff. And he was still true to himself and the character, I felt like, with what he ended up deciding, let's say, in this story, right? When he found out that he was experimenting on all these other people. For me, this, other than the reveal in the first story, this was my favorite story of the issue. I actually thought this was really well done, with the Pepe Larraz art as well. It doesn't hurt. It was interesting to see the reveal in the first story, but then like you said, I was a little confused about how I felt about the whole thing, and then they kind of plop you right into this story, and I was like, oh, okay, thank God they didn't then make us guess what the hell happened to this guy for so long, right? So I guess they're really trying to like bring things together by giving you both these stories. But like you said, I don't know how long he's actually gonna show back up on Earth in the main story, let's say, once we get back to the regular series here. So, but I liked this. It's kind of what it reminded me of a little bit at times. But then you got the new suit, and then there's a couple other shorter things.
Oh yeah, now with the rapid guy, who cares?
Yeah,
and I forget what the other story was after that.
Yeah, this one, who cares about this? And these ones weren't really as good, but they had like a one pager.
Oh, this one here. That was just a one pager or something, right?
Yeah, or a couple pages, and then this one. So, yep. I don't know. Where do you stand? What did you think of this?
I don't know either. I thought I was turning the page. This one, I'm gonna hit the pause button on it, whether I like it or not. We'll see where it goes. I give it 3.75 though. It had me going.
I think I'm gonna give it a 4. Yeah, I don't know. 3.85. I liked that story a lot though. The second, I did really like it, and I like the reveal. No, screw it. It had some good art. No, I'll go for. I'll go for. But it's we'll see. It's on a we'll see basis. I might take this 4 back in future episodes. I was totally wrong about that. No, 4 out of 5. Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was a good issue. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens now. This is issue 11 issue. What was the legacy numbering on this? What is this now? 970.
975. So
that
I
means
hope they're not going to squeeze this out for 25 issues, and have 1,000 where it's the triumphant return of Spider-Man.
it might be. So that means that 25 plus 11, that issue 36 is going to be issue 1,000 of this with the legacy numbering, right? So there you go. All right. So that's going to do it for the books that we read this week. Chris, what are you looking forward to checking out?
Before we go and checking out, I got a bit of a haul here. Some of the old covers that I've just picked up here.
You always
Batman. Frank Miller Batman. What I got, that Spider-Man 10, the J. Scott Campbell cover.
Nice.
Still trying to find that Adam Hughes freaking Black Cat #1, but I ran into a Terry Dodson foil cover.
Nice. That's a good one.
Take that. And then a few more of these Alex Ross covers, but belong to comics I'm not even reading. I think Dazzler might be Laura Kinney. This Havoc, I don't even know who that's. That might be a Psylocke or something. And then Sunfire.
Nice.
Good stuff, though.
Yeah, nice covers all around. Good stuff.
And let's see what's going on next week. Let's fire this up. Ooh, the Punisher, Red Band #1. Definitely. There's a Frank Miller variant there, too. I don't know. If you see that at your comic shop, let me know. One? The Punisher Red Band is a Frank Miller variant.
Oh.
It's the skull with a whole bunch of dead bodies lying around it.
Yeah.
Not the greatest Frank Miller, but I mean, it's not the worst Frank Miller.
No.
So I'm not it's almost okay. So maybe I'm not looking for that one. But let's see. Where are we here? Okay, so Ultimate Wolverine #9, One World Under Doom 7, Captain America 3, Punisher Red Band. Oh man, Imperial War. Or no, I don't know if I'll read this Nova one. And that, the X-Men of Apocalypse Alpha #1. Maybe I'll read that, see what's going on. I know about this Undead Iron Fist or this Edge of Venomverse #1.
Mm-hmm.
They're really pushing out a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
What's going on with my new comics? Oh, there we go. For DC, Absolute Batman 12, definitely looking forward to that. Ooh, heard some good stuff about this Birds of Prey that's coming out.
Oh, really? Okay. Maybe
I think I might have a new artist or something. Trinity, Daughter of Wonder Woman. Reading that one looks like there's going to be a fun story there.
Yeah.
And that looks like a small week for DC. And Image. Oh, Transformers 24. I think it's the end of the run there. And that's it, I think. So maybe a smaller week. I think I can use one.
Yeah, same for me. A lot of the same stuff you said. Absolute Batman, One World Under Doom, Transformers, Punisher Red Band, Captain America, Ultimate Wolverine. They also am picking up Farmhand, which I think this is the second last issue, but yeah, long time coming for that. That's things I'm picking up. And then digitally, I think I'm reading Trinity, Daughter of Wonder Woman, the Imperial War Nova issue I'll check out, Red Hulk. That's also coming to an end soon. Second issue of Superman Kryptonite Spectrum, which I know Chris did not like. And I might check out this Powers 25, which is, I think, the 25th anniversary of Powers, the Brian Michael Bendis comic. I've read all the other Powers series, so I might check this out digitally at the very least. It's been a long time. I've read he's even put out a Powers comic, so we'll see. But that also comes out next week, so maybe I'll check it out digitally. So yeah, that's next week's comics though, and that'll be for the week of the 10th of September. All right, Chris, it's that time.
That time. I know it's been a tough week. I don't think there are any standouts, but I might have to give it to Batman and Robin #3. I think that was a good one there. I enjoyed that art, and I think the story was decent. And that's almost based on the whole series though as well.
Yeah, I agree. That was in the running for me. I guess also the first Batman was in the running for me, and Batman #1 this week. That might be about it. Yeah, I think for like actual potential for the favorite, I'm gonna pick Cheshire and Cheetah rob the Justice League #2. I will say that's got a bit of, it has a bit going for it though, because I read both the first and second issue, but I think they're both really good issues overall. So maybe it would be a little bit different if I just read the second issue this week, but it is what it is. I really like this series so far, and I'm looking forward to more of that. So I'm gonna give the edge to that this week for my favorite of the week. So there you have it.
This is what the Gotham Siren should be.
Yes,
but not.
That's a very good point. That should have absolutely been like that. This is that vibe I was looking for in that series. Absolutely. Yeah. It's a lot of fun so far. So, I mean, like I said, if you like any of those tropes, like heist movies, just like fun actual series with really good dialogue. Yeah. It's good interesting characters like that you don't normally see all that often. Yeah, it kind of has that going for it, honestly. So I think that's definitely one you should check out, because I'm pretty certain this probably went under a lot of people's radar, but I was very pleasantly surprised by it. So there you have it. All right, that's going to do it for this week. We'll see you next week. As always, make sure to like and subscribe. And thank you to Chris, and we'll see you next time. Later.
All right. Cheers.